This is the fluency that we're going to do before we do our multi-digit review. We're starting off with some geometry. We've got a good review of things that maybe you've learned last year to see if you remember them, and just a good review of things that will be coming up eventually. So the first thing that we want to do is just look at the different shapes that we have there. And if you look at the attributes, an attribute tells us about that shape. So the number of sides it has, the length of the sides, what about the angles and the size of those angles, and it's a right angle. And so the obtuse, acute, obtuse meaning more than 90 degrees and acute meaning less than 90 degrees. And a right angle is a degree that is 90 degrees exactly. So that's a degree where the lines basically are perpendicular. Your degrees are these spots right here. This is where we'd find our degrees. So think about how you would know. So if you're looking at a shape, how do you know if that shape is perpendicular? How do you know if it's, how do you know what the lengths of the sides are, whether the sides are equal? What can you tell about the angles? So what we're going to do is look at these different shape names as well. And so right now I want you to, when we say the names, I want you to write down what shapes you think might be that. And a quadrilateral. So think about what quadrilateral means. Quadrilateral is actually the name gives you a clue because quad means four. So quadrilateral is a four-sided shape. So any shape here that has four sides is a quadrilateral. A rhombus, if you remember, the rhombus is the shape that looks, I think of them kind of as the kite shape. So that would be H and K are rhombuses. Squares are all sides are equal. So I look at B and I'm quite certain that that is one. And I would need to measure, but I believe G is also a square. Rectangles have opposite sides are equal. So when I look at that, I think, well, I is a rectangle, D is a rectangle. Parallelogram means that the opposite sides are parallel. So a rectangle is automatically a parallelogram. A square is a parallelogram because the opposite sides are parallel. Those two lines will never ever meet. A trapezoid is a four-sided figure. So all of these that have four sides are trapezoids. And that's a parallelogram. All right. So as you look at this, you can come back and look at other questions that you might have that they have here and start thinking about these different shapes. All right, we're back to something that looks probably a little bit more familiar. We're going to go through these pretty quickly. Write down on your whiteboard the answers to these four things, and then we will go through them. If you need another minute, go ahead and pause the video, before I go through them. All right, let's look at that. 3 times 3, well, we know that's 9. 30 times 3, we can think of that as 3 tens times 3, which is 9 tens, or 90. 300 times 3, well, 3 times 3, 9. How many zeros? 2. Or 300s times 3. And 3,000 times 3. Again, 3 times 3 is 9, and we have 3 zeros, so we're going to put those in because we're actually saying 3,000s times 3 is 9,000s. All right, let's do a little bit more of that. 4 times 3, same thing. Pause the video, put down your answers, then come back on and see. 4 times 3, 12. 40 times 3, 120. And 4,000s times 3 is 12 thousands. All right. Let's look at what we have here. This gets a little bit trickier when we have a lot of zeros. So 5,000 times 2. Well, 5 times 2 is 10. And then we have our 3 zeros. So again, 5,000s times 2 is 10,000s. 50 times 4, or 5 tens times 4, well, that's 20 tens, which is 200. 500 times 8, well, 8 times 4, I'm sorry, 8 times 5 is 40, and our 2 zeros, 4,000. 80 times 6, well, 8 times 6 is 48, and it's 88 tens, so 48 tens is 480. All right, the last thing that we're going to practice is skip counting. We're going to do 6s, 7s, 8s, and 9s. These are probably the trickiest to do. We'll go up to 60 and then back down, and I try to keep just an even pace doing that, and hopefully you can stay with me. And I apologize, I have a terrible cold. So let's go ahead and start with our 6s. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60. All right, and then let's go back down from 60. 60, 54, 48, 42, 36, 30, 24, 18, 12, 6. All right, did you stay with me? Let's try 7s. 7s, I think, for me, are the trickiest. So let's start there at 7. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70. And back down from 70, 70, 63, 56, 49, 42, 35, 28, 21, 14, 7. You know, I will say since I started doing this, I am way better at counting up and down just because I practice so much with you guys. Let's do our 8s. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80. And back down from that 80, 80, 72, 64, 56, 48, 40, 32, 24, 16, 8. All right, and the last one, let's do 9s, going up to 90. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90. And then back down from 90, 90, 81, 72, 63, 54, 45, 36, 27, 18, 9. Good work. I hope you stayed with me. And that is the end of our fluency for today.